Opie's Beard Co. The Sit Down Series.
We are live. Welcome everybody to the third episode of the Sit Down series with me, Jamie Cox, and with Carl Sullivan.
Hey,
How are you, Carl?
I'm fine. How are you doing, Mr. Cox?
I'm very, very well, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me on to your lovely abode.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. So let's get straight into it. Can you tell us about your beard journey? When you started growing your beard, why you started growing your beard?
Sure. When I started, since leaving school, I've already, well, even at school, I had a little bit of a shaggy thing going on, and obviously I thought that was great. But since leaving school, I've always had some kind of goatee going on. I've always gone for that goatee look.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, the Van Dyke looks, a moustache and this bit here.
Yeah.
So roughly been about the age of 20, 21. And then at various stages, I've kind of grown it out. Some of it just due to laziness, and it's gone a little bit, and I've kept it and got a bit fed up and got rid. And then must be about 6 years ago, well, probably more now, about 10 years ago, I grew a proper beard and kept it low. And then again, about 5, 6 years ago, I kind of thought, let's go for it, grow it out. Partly just because I wanted to, partly because, well, when I was working as well, people would say, "Oh, that's getting a bit scruffy now. You've got to trim it out." And I thought, well, I might have been going to, but just because you've told me to, I'm not. A bit of stubbornness came in, so I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it and let it grow.
Yeah.
And I did, but then I kind of found all the beard groups, and I thought, no, I like these long beards stuff. I'm going to give them a go. Just grow my beard out, see what happens. Hence this.
Yeah, great. Well, we met on a bearding group, didn't we? We met on your bearding group. Was Private Beards.
Indeed, we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I can't remember when or how that came about, but yeah, I'm happy we did.
I think if I remember rightly, I joined up because I usually join up all the beard community groups and see what they're like, see if it's a group I'm happy being in. And I was in Private Beards for quite a while. And then I can't remember if you messaged me or I messaged you about sponsoring the group, because I really liked how your group is, particularly. I mean, I don't know if you would. How would you describe Private Beards?
I would describe it as a private group for people with beards.
Yeah. See, I always thought.
That's it. I just thought it. See,
Right, that's probably why it's called Private Beards. Then, okay, right.
Yeah. It means a lot to me, and I suppose if we talk about the Private Beards group now, if I talk about sort of what's in it for me, it'll kind of sort of tell you what it means to me, sort of thing, and what I think it's about. As regards for you being a sponsor, that would have been definitely me coming banging on your door saying, "Do you want a bit of this?" But it was a few years ago now, and I'm really glad to have you here. But when I started in Private Beards, the reason it's called Private Beards, it was started by another admin called Rob, because he was in another group, which was run by a big company that you may have seen elsewhere. Okay. They had their page, but it was private. Then they made it public, and he wasn't happy because of his work issues or security issues. He didn't want his face being going out public or whatever. So he set up his own page, and that's why we called it Private Beards, because it was a private group, and that's how it started. And then a few months in, I kind of came on board. I was in the group from day one. He sent me the application to join or whatever, and then a few months through, or a year after, I kind of climbed up the ladders to admin myself.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. It was nothing to do with me originally, but then, like you say, I kind of got my hands on it and did what I had to do.
Yeah.
With Robert helping out in the background as well.
I think sometimes the best things in life end up being like that, though, don't they? Where someone starts it and then somebody else takes it and sort of runs with it. I know you've had tons of members join since you've been involved in it, haven't you? How many is Private Beards up to now, member wise?
We're close to 2,000. We're about 1,900 around there. When I came, I don't want to sing my own praises. There was roughly about 250 members when I came on board.
Yeah, see, that's a lot for a private group, isn't it? Considering it's
it is.
Obviously, with public groups, you tend to have more not shares as such, because you can share posts obviously on public groups, but it's more sort of the Facebook algorithms don't show people commenting on certain things, so everything is kept, as you say, private. So it's an amazing number to get to.
It's and I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with the people that have joined that were there before and that have come on after. I'm really happy with the group. And the other thing about that, so I'll go back to that group, is for me, like when I just finished work due to my medical condition, and so I was in a really bad place, sort of thing, and had nothing to do all day. Like I said, I was a prison officer, and I felt like I'd gone from a prison officer to a prisoner in my own home. So I was in a really bad place, and I had nothing to do, no outlook. Daytime TV is the worst thing in the world. I don't switch the TV on in the daytime at all. It's just a nightmare. And so I just found myself with nothing to do. I can't go out walking, anywhere or whatever. So I started going online, and this is where I started with these beer clubs. There was Ibeard Club was one of the first ones. Yeah. And saw Lee from Ibeard Club, and it's got me into it. I really like this, and it kind of progressed into me getting involved with this private beard, and because I'd seen the beard community had helped me out, even not really necessarily do much, just being able to chat, post your photos, people commenting, you comment to them, you just chat generally. It just kind of gave me something to look forward to and something to do, and just take my mind off from where I was at that time. And then I thought, well, this is brilliant, and I want to be able to, if there was only way I could give this to other people, how it's helped me. And that's how I got involved with private beards, and it took off. And that's what it means to me. It absolutely means the world to me. It's more than just a beard group. It's kind of, in a way, it's the beard community kind of saved my life. So I've got a big respect for everybody, for everybody who gets involved in these groups. And private beards was my way of kind of giving back, or giving an outlet, a focus for other people. Because like I said, it's a beard group, and the majority of people who watch this video will be bearded and will know much about it. But you may get the odd one, and you don't have to have a beard to join them groups. Obviously, you have to have a like for beards, because that's what the posts are going to be about or based on. But also, if a person's struggling, and they post that, if it's a private beard, or if I say, I'll get in touch and say, how are you doing? We just have a little chat, or other people will jump on, and how about we do a meet, a video meet at the weekend, and we'll have a little drink and a little beer, and just support each other. And that's what it's all about for me. And that's so it absolutely means the world to me, these beard groups. And the sponsors that come on, they help out immeasurable. I know you're giving away free products, where that's great, of course it is, but it's more than that. It's a community. I think it's a fellowship, a brotherhood, and sisterhood. We have women in there as well, as you know. Yeah. And we just all help each other out. And all the sponsors, I will say this, I'm really proud of all the sponsors I've got, because they're all, I might not have met them personally, but I've texted with them on, as you know, beforehand I was talking to you, know all the products. And I just know that not only have we got good products, that there's decent people behind it, like you. And so a big respect for you all and everyone involved. So there you go.
I think private beards definitely has a lot of key things that a lot of other groups don't have. In particular, a lot of your competitions are catered not only just for beardsmen. Like, for instance, today is Friday, and on private beards, every Friday is Flat Cap Friday.
Flat Cap Friday, yeah.
The competition literally entails you putting a hat of any sort, preferably a flat cap, on your head, taking a selfie, and posting it on the group.
That's right. In fact, they're not even, some people have not got hats. So we've had guys putting all sorts on. We've had someone put a teapot on their head, someone who works in, I think his name's Mike, he works in, or he's in the theatre industry, not working, you're a volunteer, and some of the weird and wonderful stuff he comes at work times is pretty amazing. There we go. We also give the stickers out. There's my Black Cap Friday stickers.
Yeah.
And it's, like I say, it's just a bit of fun. So
yeah, and you also go live, don't you? Pretty much most Sundays to play a bit of music.
Talk
to people, and we have a bit of a banter as well, don't we, in the comments?
Yeah, I like that when the people come in, join in, and add a few comments and take the mickey out of me, because I'll mess something up it's almost guaranteed that I'll mess something up on the computer or whatever. We have a bit of a laugh about it, and we play a bit of tunes. Most of my tunes are kind of bluegrass sort of music, a bit of banjo and all that sort of stuff. But that's because I have one of our members from Germany, Mofo Music. He sent me a few CD to give me the permission to play. You know, the copyright issue. He gave me the permission to play CDs, so I stick with them as much as I can. So
that's great, because that's somebody you've met obviously on the group as well. So it just goes to show the community coming together. And obviously you've both done well out of that. Yeah, sorry, I'll give a shout out to Andreas Rydell. Thank you for that. He sent me he got in touch with me and said, Carl, I like your group. I think it's really good. Do you want some CDs to give away? So he gave me some CDs. He gave me some this which you give away. It's a Hollow Belly. It's a the old fashioned record. Oh, right,
limited edition numbered ones there, and I give you, obviously I kept one for myself, but then I give some away to the group. So
brilliant.
Good people out there. There's some good people out there.
Yeah, you've just got to find people that have a record player now.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've not got one in a minute, but I just keep it there on show.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it comes with a digital number as well. So you type in a number and you do get a digital copy.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah, that's clever. Yeah, that's very clever. Yeah, well, that's awesome. Anyone who's not on Private Beers, join it. I'll put the link below here so that you can take a look at the group. I just want to talk to you next about you've got your own YouTube channel, Carl's Bearded Banter. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the things that you get up to on Carl's Bearded Banter?
Carl's Bearded Banter was another thing I started as a progression from the Facebook, just to give me something to do to occupy my time. That's how it started. Well, that's what it is about. But it quickly became fun. I really, obviously to keep going, you've got to really enjoy it, and I do. So that's all it was. But it started off, I'd get a few different cans of beer and I'd kind of sit there, maybe drinking more than one at a time. If you watch some of the old ones. Sit there drinking the beer, but telling you about the taste and whether I thought it was any good, sort of a review thing. And then I started doing the products like Opie's beard products, reviewing them. And that's obviously took off. There's been loads of people who've sent me products to try. I've still got hundreds in. Well, not hundreds, but I've got 5 or 6 there to go through. And that was the origins of it. It just started. And then from that, I thought, well, where else can I take this now? There's got to be, because I can't just do a product every week. It's just going to become repetitive.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll start interviewing people. And as you know, I interviewed you on it as well. So I've interviewed people who make beer products, make and sell it, and have discussion about them, their views, but like we're doing now. And that's where I'm at with a minute. I'm going to expand it more to not just beard product companies, but people in the bearding community. Well, so I've done people like Lee BMG, who's a fantastic bit. He's my man crush with his beard. Yeah, I'll admit that. And some people like that. But I'm going to open up to anyone's got a good story to tell. I did that veteran from America. It's just opened up a world for me there. And I'm really enjoying it at the minute. I've got a ukulele and I'm thinking of doing an online learning course. I'm filming that and sticking that and just see how it goes. Just to occupy myself. But I don't know. I'm not brave enough to do it and film it yet, but it might be a bit of fun,
Yeah, well, I think you'll definitely get watchers on it. I think unless you do a sort of naked cooking show, then I think I might unsubscribe pretty sharpish. But
you've already asked. Don't say you've already asked me to get a naked cooking show.
The perfect omelette, No, that's absolutely brilliant. I think it's great to keep the YouTube fresh. And I think what I learned certainly from going to beard comps, as you probably did as well, is that when you get talking to people that have beards, there's a lot more depth to them. They're not just somebody with a beard. Everybody has a story. They're always good at something, or they've done something, and you don't know about it until you speak to them. And that's what the beauty of these interviews are: is you can speak to people and find out in-depth things about them that you just didn't have a clue about before.
Exactly. And a lot of the times it's like, whoa, I didn't expect that, or I didn't know that, and it's really good information. And for the most, I think everybody I've met, they've been really decent people and deserving of a bit of time, I think, and I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a number of videos on there now. So you've done beer reviews, you've done beard product reviews, interviews now, and you're talking about now doing a tutorial ish video, I guess. Would it be called? It wouldn't be a cool tutorial, would it?
No.
It'd be a learn with Carl, I guess, sort of video, wouldn't it?
Yes, but of progression, sort of watch my progression. I don't know if that'll pay off yet. It's just one of them things I'm thinking about doing. Also, I'll be doing things like attending when the beard comps get back on. I'll be trying to interview people there, and then kind of making links to that. Getting more involved in that sort of stuff.
That'd be great, actually. Yeah, a little video. I know you've done a small video diary, didn't you? The last time when we met was Beard On. You've done a small one, just going around and stuff like that with your GoPro. So I guess something like that would be pretty awesome, actually, because I think a lot of people get a bit scared, don't they, about or a bit intimidated about going to beard competitions. So I think if they were to watch a video of everybody, see all the smiling and laughing going on, I think it would probably put them at ease, wouldn't it?
But I think not only that, getting them on the videos, what I'll do is people coming in, if I see, I recognize that face, I'll grab them, have a few minutes. Or somebody new comes in, I'll go just before they start, and just also, I mean, it's not much of an interview, more like a pre-match, pre-match interviews where they're just how you do, that sort of stuff, trying to make them feel comfortable as well, the new guys. But then say the winners or the top three, how do you feel now you've done it, and that that kind of stuff. Like a beard pundit. That's the one, isn't it? A beard pundit. That's what
I think people would be very unsurprised on how little people are hyped up before a beard competition when they're psyching themselves up. There's not a huge amount of clapping and shouting and screaming. Before. We don't psych ourselves up like boxers and footballers do we?
No, but what they do though is they support each other. You may have some champion who's world champion or whatever. The people I've met from around the world. No, well, I've never met before. First time I've seen when I went to the comps. First time I've seen this guy. From America, from Germany.
Yeah.
And how are you doing? This is my first competition. Oh, don't worry about it. They'll make you feel. This could be a guy you're competing against, but they make you feel right at home. You're welcome. You'll sit down and have a beer with them. It's not like you're my enemy in this competition. I'm gonna knock you down. It's not about putting people down. It's all about bringing people up. Fantastic people. Fantastic.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's if you can get to a beard comp when all the COVID stuff's done with, you get yourself to a beard comp, because you'll meet the likes of Carl and me, or you can meet people that are nicer and better than us.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't sell it very well there, mate, but you will meet some good people,
But you'll meet different people, so going forward from that, you are a big advocate of Opie's, aren't you? You're a part of our ambassadors, or as we call a familia group.
I am. I've got my Opie's pin on there as well.
Yeah. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about why you decided to hang your hat with Opie's?
Opie's, why did I get involved? I'll admit, I put my hands up. I was an ambassador for a different company, but that just kind of, there was no contact with them. I'd ask questions, you'd never get a reply. And then I actually thought it shut down. We never heard from him for about a year and a half. He'd just gone dead. So I just said, look, I don't know what's going on. I'll have to bow out. Yeah. And then a month later, you came on board, asked me if I wanted to be an ambassador, shall we say. And I jumped at the chance. I mean, you're a great guy. We'd obviously chatted a lot through the group. And but obviously, the products, you've got some great products out there. Some of my favourite ones, let's go there, is on your standard range is fruit gum. I forgot his name. Fruit gum and piney. I think they're my two favourites. And then in your premium range, I really love the Filthy Grin and the Green Man. Is it Green Man? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's how much I love it. I can't even remember the names. Yeah, the Greedy Man. That's one. Greedy Man.
Yeah, Greedy Man. Yeah.
Greedy Man, not green.
Yeah,
sorry,
it's got the green writing. So.
Yeah, that's what. This is one of my problems. My brain doesn't work too well in that sort of stuff. But so them are some of my. I think they're fantastic. And I thought, well, if I'm going to support anyone, it might as well be Jamie. He's got some great products out there that I have no problem endorsing, shall we say, or whatever.
Yeah, we were happy to have you on board. Obviously, we spoke multiple times beforehand. I got to know you quite well as a person before meeting you, so it was a no-brainer for us to really invite you on board. And as you well know, we converse very often on the Opie's chat group. And I keep you up to date and ask advice on things that are come in and things that you think about. And I think I treat it as like a family almost.
Yeah, and that's another thing about being being part of the Opie's familiar, like I said, which is the word I like to use. I think you came up with it, but I like to use it.
Yeah.
It's not just me saying, try these Opie stuff, which, I mean, you're not big on us just doing that and shoving it down people's faces. No, it's not what you like. But obviously, if someone's asking for advice, we'll recommend it and stuff and things like that. But also, you have a chat group for all us ambassadors, and we get together and we, like say, you'll tell us give us kind of a bit of a scoop on what's coming up through Opie's in the future, or ask for a bit of advice. What do you think about this image? Stuff like that. But also, we take the mickey out of each other. We have a laugh. We have a good time. There's another group there. So it is like a family network sort of thing, extended family network. So it's just a really good group to be involved with in that sense as well.
Yeah, of course. And it's a tight knit group because it's invite only. Obviously, look into a lot of guys before they're invited on board. So you've got to be a very select person to be involved in it. But I just want to quickly touch on what you were saying about pushing products and stuff like that. Years ago, I used to be a salesman, and I never advocated for anybody to sell something that they didn't personally like. And I know Matt Wall, who I interviewed last week, he's not a big fan of like the coffee scents, so I would never expect Matt to push the coffee scents and say, use this because I love it, because I know he doesn't. No, and it's just, that's how it is. I mean, there's certain scents that people aren't going to like, and I'm not going to expect people to lie. I just want everyone to tell the truth and just say, this is the one I like, this is why I like it. And I think that comes through then. And that's what sets you apart from ambassadors. I think an ambassador's role is very much just almost like a salesman. And that's something we wanted to get away from. So we're really happy now with where we are. Obviously, this was all discussed between us all as well, wasn't it?
Of course it was,
and we wanted to go in a different direction because we felt that standard ambassadors were just not doing the community we weren't doing the community a favour. So we wanted to get back to that wholesome sort of, family that you get in the communities and that you get with Opie's.
And like you say, there's that many ambassadors out there for different companies now. They just ended up spamming people, didn't they? With, try this. There's no reason why to try it. Just sticking their code on things. Go for that, go for that, go for that. And then there's companies out now, we shall name no names. It's just like basically buy a product and become our ambassador. And I think it looks like you buy something, you get a discount code and you can call yourself an ambassador for that. And they've just totally ruined the point of being an ambassador. It's being a champion for that product, so basically agreeing with what they've got. Now, I'm not going to do. Obviously, I've used your products before I became an ambassador. I knew all. Obviously, we've tried it all, but I've used them before you became a sponsor to Private Beards because we wanted to make sure it was good stuff. But these days, it just seems people will just send off a few quid, get that tag, and start selling stuff that they've never seen before. You know what I mean? It's just totally ruined it.
Yeah, I agree.
But we're not like that. We're not like that at all, please.
I agree. I think if somebody recommends a product, they have to give the why. If you don't give the why you're recommending something, it's really not worth writing anything. Because at the end of the day, people want to know your opinion. That's why they're asking for a recommendation. You always ask for a recommendation based on somebody's opinion, and if they don't give their opinion of what they're recommending, it's not worth writing anything.
No, and also here we go, championing Opie's again. You've gone that next step with the Ibeard Club and becoming part of the Masters Guild, and putting yourself with a bit more of a headache, I suppose, of giving that extra kind of security to prove your goods, shall we say? Do you know what I mean? It was something you didn't have to do, but you've done it again then to show people that you've got quality goods. So fair play to you all.
Yeah, well, I spoke personally with the management of Ibeard Club when they were setting it all up, and I put forth that I thought it was a great idea, that the beard community and certainly product wise, cosmetics industry does need almost like gas have with their corgi, or gas safe as it's known now, register. I think, a kite mark that you can say, I've done the correct things, I'm legal. You know, that's what we want, and that's what customers want. And if that happened, guarantee you would see the price of beard products come down. You would see the price of beard products come down, because we would have more sales based on the fact that there's not companies out there selling it illegally. So we would have more sales, which means then we can do everything in bulk even more, in terms of buying ingredients and things like that, not in terms of making, in terms of buying ingredients. So then we would get it cheaper, and then that would be passed on then to customers. So I think it would do everybody the world of good if that was to come off, and obviously they're now running with it, which is absolutely great. Couldn't be more happy with that. So I want to move on now to a personal subject with you. You touched on it earlier, about the being at home and how you had to stop working and be at home. Do you want to just tell us why that is?
Yeah, sure. My issue was, well, I didn't know what the issue was when the symptoms started. I was getting ill basically week in, week out, and literally going to work. I mean, it's shift work, so there's different times, but no matter what the time would be, let's say if it was a regular, let's say 7:30 till 6 o'clock shift sort of thing, I would be getting up, going to work, and then at the end of the day, coming home, having a bit of tea and going to bed. So if I was home for 5:30, I'd have tea, 6 o'clock. I'd be in bed I'd fall asleep on the sofa till about 7, and then I'd be in bed, same again, up, work, home, bed. And then at weekends, because I was just so tired, and not just tired, really, the way I could describe it, I mean, there's more to it, but the way I could describe it then is, you know, if you've ever done a mad session at the gym, and then you've really worked your legs or your arms, and then the days after you can hardly move, it's like painful. I had that sort of feeling every day, and that was just for getting up and walking around. You know what I mean? It's not like I was doing any kind of lifting or anything like that. And this was, you know, I used to do powerlifting. I got into the strength training. I was into all that. Everything went out the window. The martial arts, I couldn't do that. I was a black belt in Wing Chun. I was studying rope dart. You know, you've seen the dart on the rope, spin it around, seen in films and stuff like that. Doing all that, loving it, and it just all that to stop because I just couldn't. I didn't have any energy, the strength, and you know the will to do it. And I thought there's something wrong, so I went to the doctors. They just said you run down. I've been ill. I've been in hospital, and they just said you've worked yourself too much. What had happened? I had a lung infection. I couldn't breathe, so I was in 2 nights in hospital. But then when I came home, I think it was like on a Sunday I'd come home. The Monday I went back into work, and by the Tuesday I was ill again. So I came home for a couple of days, but then back in, and then it's still basically I felt a little bit better. Went to work, it dropped, so I come back in, and it went for about 3-4 weeks. And what I was doing, I wasn't going sick. I was taking I need a few more days off, so I was taking leave for a day or two. And it just became, you know, it just became a nightmare. It was so depressing what was happening to me. And like I said, on the weekends when I was off, I would just sleep, come home on a Friday, go to bed, and then I would sleep till like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, come downstairs, literally 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, come downstairs, have a little chat to Jane, might have a bit of tea, fall asleep on the sofa, and my life just became, it was like, what's going on? It's just, I saw there was no life to me anymore. I just thought life is just work and sleep. No time with the family, no time doing all the things that I enjoyed. And obviously, depression started hitting in then. And I didn't know what was going on. I was having work because I wasn't feeling right. And then I heard about this condition called chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS, ME, myalgic encephalomyelitis, I can't say it, encephalomyelitis, ME, chronic fatigue syndrome, MCFS. And I thought, this sounds about right. So I mentioned it to my doctor. Wasn't the other way around. He didn't know much about it. He just says, "Oh no, you'll be all right. We'll give you a few injections, a few steroid injections to boost your testosterone back up."
Yeah.
And I was just getting worse and worse. It was getting to the point where I'd wake up in the morning and my arms were so tired, like someone had given me not the pain, but give me a dead arm. You know, you can't lift it. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I just couldn't use it. And I was actually one day. I remember getting into my car. My left arm wasn't too bad. I'm right-handed, and I kind of had to grab my arm. It was more than beforehand down here, so from about there to there. So I kind of grabbed my arm, put it on the steering wheel, because you do the game, with the other hand, and then I'd go to work like that. And then sort of once I got on off the little side road onto the main road, I think the blood just started flowing back or whatever, and then I was all right. And I got to work, and I thought, that's not good. There's no way I should have really been driving when I can't even feel my arms. And so then I said, obviously I hit depression and big time because what's going on. My father died of motor neuron disease. If you think Stephen Hawking, that's what he had.
Yeah.
He died when he was 50, I think it was. He was diagnosed at 40. And going back, I'm 48. Once I hit that 40, it all came at the same time. And I think I started to think, I've got motor neuron disease here. And there's no way I'm going to let my wife and son see me deteriorate as much as you do, as quickly as you do. So I've got to find a way to get away, to save them that suffering, because it's a horrible disease. It's horrible, very painful when you're going. And this is what I was thinking. I thought, I've got to find a way out. I don't want my family to suffer. And obviously, going through the test and all that, it took me about 2 years to get diagnosed with ME, because it's what they do. They can't. There's no treatment. Take your blood and test you. Oh yeah, you've got the ME virus. It doesn't work like that. What they do is they rule out other stuff. So they ruled out motor neuron disease, they ruled out MS, ruled out Lyme disease. They have the similar conditions. And at the end of the day, he says, right, well, we can't find anything else, so we agree you've got ME. So that kind of, in a way, it was a relief that I've had this label to it.
Yeah.
Well, then back at work, it was a terrible time for me, because I was also a Duke of Edinburgh expedition leader. So I took 18, 21 years old prisoners out, and it's an open prison. I take them out, do walking in the hills and all that, and well, obviously not a lot of hills around the northwest area, but we do the Sankey Valley and thick trails like that, the Pennine Way, bits of that, and all that's become. I was still doing that at work when I was bad, but what was happening was I was taking them for the walk, about 6 miles, getting them back to into the prison. Then I was going home, and one time I remember I collapsed. I just got in through the door, and you kind of, the stress, you just kind of hold itself together. And then I got into the door, closed the door, and then just collapsed on the floor and started. I was literally shaking. If you think like someone having a fit, I suppose, but not really violent, just kind of like if you've had a scare and you're kind of like this, like that, all the way through my arms. So I was kind of almost killed up on the floor in the hallway, shaking like that. And I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? I went to work the next day feeling really rough, and I thought, right, I've got to tell them there's something wrong and I need help here. And I told them, and they said, well, what can we do about it? I said, well, I don't think there's anything you can, but it's getting a bit much. So they didn't do anything, and I started this. I've been diagnosed now. I had to go and see somebody to see the kind of ATOS, as it was called, to see whether you're capable of doing your job. And obviously, I didn't want to give up work. I wanted to stay.
Yeah, of course.
I'm 48 now. I don't want. I really did enjoy my job. You look at, like I say, I've got an award over here, Prison Officer of the Year. I've got a letter there from Princess Anne for the work I've done in the service. So it's something I was really passionate about and really enjoyed doing. But I just said to them, I need help, but I don't know what help I need. And they kind of just said, sorry, mate, there's not much we can do. So I tried to struggle on. But I mean, working in a prison, you're around some people, shall we say, that maybe are not always, don't have always the best intentions for other people.
Yeah.
Most of the part, you know, the guys that are in prison, they made a few mistakes, and you get on amicably with them. What's going on in the background, sort of stuff that, you know, you may not know about. But for the most part, when they're dealing with the officers, you're fine. But I thought, well, what happens if I go in and I start quaking on the floor, you know, or like if I've gone up onto the landings, up on the landing there, and then I can't get down because that happens. But once I was shopping in Tesco and my legs stopped working, I basically had to flop over the trolley, and my wife had to push me out. My just legs stopped working. I couldn't do anything. I said this to them at work, and they basically just said, if you can't do your job, then you'll have to just leave. I can't. So there was no kind of, I now knew I had a disability, but because it had not been described, it had not been put out there through the disability network, they ignored it. But also as part of my job, I was a race relations officer and a disability liaisons officer. So I kind of knew I had rights, and I sort of started to fight for my rights there. It just became a battle. I was struggling with it for 2 years, but then it started to get, my condition got, like I say, really worse. That's when it was just working, sleeping, feeling terrible. It's like the feeling of a full-on flu, a really strong flu. That's why people don't like the term chronic fatigue syndrome. Well, chronic fatigue, yeah, I've done that when I feel really tired, or someone with a babe. You know, I've got a baby at home, so I'm not real tired. It's not the same sort of tiredness. It's not just being really sleepy. That's just an everyday thing for me now, but it's also, it's the pain that's involved, and the brain goes as well. There's a thing called neural malaise, which is part of it. So the brain gets tired, the brain shuts down, and that stops working. I stop being able to communicate. Like I stop dyslexia. Like if I'm looking at on a keyboard, so my brain starts getting tired, the keys don't make any sense to me. They don't. You know, what are them? It's almost like they don't change, whatever, but they might as well be hieroglyphics. I don't know what they mean. Something that I've known all my life. They just go to. I assume that's what dyslexia is. I've never been tested for that. But it's basically because my brain starts shutting down in that. Not in the sense that it's going to kill me, but it's just a tiredness. And I would say more like if you've been up drinking, you know, you've had loads of beer, and you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you're kind of that sort of brain feeling, and you turn your head. As you turn your head, but then the room stays there and then slowly comes back with you. It's like everything, your brain function slows down, and that's what it's like. And then your words, if you watch my videos, you'll see it sometimes. My words, it probably happened today, they don't connect when I want to say. It's like if I was to say, hello, Jamie, how are you doing? Now, I know the words, obviously, but I might come out with hello, and then I'll be like, what's his name? I forgot his name. You know, someone, I know you very well. I know your name, but it's like, hello, it's gone. And then, so I'll lose that, Jamie, how are you doing? And then I think, well, it's Jamie, yeah, but what was I saying hello to Jamie for? Oh, I want to say, how are you doing? I mean, this is done in split seconds, so it might come out like, hello, Jamie, how are you doing? Like that. But in my head, I've had that kind of conversation of thoughts have gone through there in them split seconds, and it becomes overwhelming, and then the kind of anxiety kicks in, and it's just a nightmare. That's what it was.
Well, I think going from your life you were before, how active it sounds like you were before, and turning it round to all the things. I mean, you still do a lot of things now, just maybe not obviously as much physical activity as you used to do. I think it's hats off to you for being able to deal with all of that, as well as having a family and obviously the other things you had going on, and being able to actually come through the other side. I think it's absolutely amazing how you've been able to do that. I mean, obviously you had no choice in the matter. It was sort of roll with it. But the reason I wanted to speak to you about this is just because of how you described it with how you dealt with people at work. It's just pure ignorance on people not knowing what it means. I mean, admittedly, I didn't know what ME was. I'd heard of it, but until I met you and you spoke about it, that's when I learned about it. And I think it's important for people to learn from people that have it.
Yeah, I will start doing more. I will start doing more videos on that and when I'm doing bad so they can see it. But like, there's people out there who are aware. But like I said, I've said to someone once, I mean, my condition's a lot better than where it was now, obviously, because I'm not as active as I was. But I still, every week, there's still a couple of days where I have to relax. And just doing stuff on the groups takes a lot out of me. It's unbelievable. Just this will take a lot out of me. I've probably an hour or two after doing this, I'll be asleep, recovering, or I'll be feeling really ill. And I'm not having a go, you know. It's just I'm used to it now. It's like you kind of go to. But see where that my head's gone. I forgot the bright side of this is, like I say, they dismissed me, but I took them. Well, I went to see doctors and went to Harley Street in London, and it cost me £2,000 to go see a doctor.
Yeah.
Getting down there on the train and seeing him and being assessed, he was a specialist in ME, chronic fatigue syndrome, and he said, "Yeah, this guy's got the condition. This condition is a registered disability. He's registered disabled."
Yeah.
And so it went from being dismissed to being medically retired, which was a huge weight off my shoulders. Not for the money aspect, because I've been off for 2 years at this stage now. You know, we were managing. We weren't going to go, you know, buying any Fabergé eggs anytime soon, but we was managing.
Yeah.
But then I got this title, medically retired, not just someone who's been sacked for not doing his job. I was actually medically retired, and that was a huge weight off my shoulders, and it felt good. It also, because it was like, I mean, it was a fight for 2 years, but it just kind of felt like I'd been, not, you know, I've been kind of, I proved my point that it was a disability, and it was a big relief for me to get that. So it was a nice, happy conversation we had here today.
Yeah. well, yeah, like I say, thanks for talking about it first and foremost, because it was nice to be able to get to hopefully educate some people about it. I know there are some charities out there, aren't there, for ME? They're more for sort of again, it's educating people on what it is.
There's an organisation called Millions Missing. I don't know if you heard of them. And what they do every year, they go around like major cities. We have in Manchester and London, and basically put people's shoes there to say that person, they still exist, but they're not with their friends anymore. They're laid up in bed. Some people can't get out of bed. They're that person's shoes, and just to bring awareness of the condition. That's what it's all about, really.
Definitely. Well, I'll put some links in the description as well for those, so you can check them out, anybody who's watching. Thanks for joining us, Carl. I'd love to have you on again at some point to talk about what videos you're going up on, what videos you're doing, and see how your ukulele is going as well.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to come and join me again in Banter Towers, here at Banter Towers, and you know, we'll have a discussion again. It's really nice talking to you.
Yeah, I do. Well, as I say,
I hope we didn't end on so much of a low.
Yeah, no, that's we started with a high, and then so next time we'll just start on the low and then go up again, I guess. But
we'll go the other way.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining me again, as I say, and I will put all the links down below for Carl's Bearded Banter and for Private Beards and for everything else we've discussed. Thanks again for joining me, Carl. Take care, buddy. Bye bye.
Ta-da.